before. We're going to be we'll be leaving this position. We're going to leave this country in very, very good shape. Shape than it's ever been. When we took office, we inherited a total catastrophe. The last administration created the worst inflation in 48 years, the most dangerous and insecure border in history, and exploding trade deficits like we have never seen before, rampant crime, men and women's sports, transgender mutilation of your children, and chaos and bedlam all over the world. Other than that, they did quite a good job. In less than 18 months, we've turned around 4 years of disaster. We now have the strongest border in American history. We went from the worst border, I believe, of any country in history. 25 million people came through in 4 years. And these are people that, in many cases, you don't want. They were murderers, they were drug dealers, they were people that you do not want. But now we have the strongest border in American history. And for the last 15 months, the report just came out again. We've had no people coming in through our southern border, zero. And it's almost hard to say because you'd say, is that even possible? They have 25 million.
Maybe not y'all southern borders, but something's going on with Spain. Something is definitely going on in Spain. You have 500 people, what it looked like to be 500 people coming from Morocco.
People came in. We have no people coming in illegally through our southern border. And that's in history. So think of that zero, a big, beautiful zero. The murder rate saw its single largest drop ever recorded to the lowest in 125 years. That goes back to, think of it, it goes back to 1900. Lowest murder rate in the history of our country. So that's something. Today, I just want to mention that we heard in Minnesota, there was a cyber attack, and they blame it on Iran. I don't think so. I blame it on Minnesota because they're grossly incompetent. There was a cyber attack of 30 water plants, and I would blame it on Minnesota and the governor, the corrupt governor of Minnesota. They like to say, oh, it's Iran. Iran should be so lucky. Iran's got bigger problems than worrying about Minnesota. This month it was announced that inflation at the fastest rate in more than 6 years. Walmart, Sam's Club, Giant Eagle, and others are slashing prices by hundreds of grocery stores and all of the stores. I mean, throughout the country, they're slashing prices. Something for a long time, my last administration. The stock market has set 73 all-time record highs since the election. That means all-time record highs, 73 days out of a very short period of time. And the typical 401k is up by more than $30,000. And when you think of that, if you add another $1,000 to it, it will be, we set the record in the last administration, a record still standing. This administration is going to blow my last administration away. When the factories that we're building at record, and we're not building them, all over the world they're building. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming from Germany with the cars. They're coming from Germany, they're coming from Japan, South Korea, Canada. From all over the world, they're building auto plants here because otherwise they have to pay tariffs. The tariffs have made our country rich and successful. And all of this, I mean, I'd like to say it was the election.
Rich in your pocket? Because we don't see no goddamn improvement.
On November 5th, there was the election, and that's fine. But without the election, you wouldn't have what I've done economically. So we have the most successful environment that we've ever had. There's never been anything like it from the standpoint of investment into our country. It's 5 to 6 times higher than anybody has ever seen, than any other country, not just us, has ever had. On July 4th, we launched Trump Accounts, a key provision of our great, big, beautiful bill. And these tax-free investment savings accounts have already been activated by over 7 million children. These are investments made in our future, which is our children. Our children are the most important aspect of our future, with more being added each day. So it's a tremendous hit, over 7 million, and really just got going, I would say, Scott, about 2.
Welcome to the live stream. Welcome to the live stream. This is We-On-Loc Nation. just doing a little bit of reviewing, and then to get to the crypts of the creamy of the title that's on the screen. Donald Trump has made billions and billions of dollars. So my question would be, has he done anything for you?
Weeks ago when it was, we got the final approvals and we have over 7 million. Actually, there's never been anything quite like that. But millions of accounts that are pre-funded with $1,000 from the U.S. Treasury or generous gifts from private donors like Michael and Susan Dell and others who have given billions of dollars. Billions. People are putting up hundreds of millions and billions of dollars into it and buying really a great future for children. When they turn 18 or when they turn 21, instead of having no hope, no future, they will end up with hundreds of thousands of dollars and maybe even more than that. So it's going to be something to see. With modest additional contributions, they'll grow by numbers that it could be over $200,000. We're looking at the timeline. I wish we had an economy like we have now with the stock markets going up, but they will benefit by our country being successful. And we're going to give every child a head start on the American dream. So go to trumpaccounts.gov. They're really
Here we go with that Trump accounts.
It's far ahead of schedule. Nobody thought it would be.
He thinks so highly of himself. He has to have his own Trump account for everybody to come in. It's not about the American people. This is mainly about him.
As successful as it's been, it should be. It should be. And we start him off with $1,000. And this was part of the great, big, beautiful bill. With my most favored nation policy, you could say this is even a bigger thing if that's possible. On drug prices, we're achieving record discounts on prescription drugs. The prescription drugs were going through the roof for many years. And now we're getting record discounts with price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600%. Nobody's ever heard of a thing like that. And what this is all about is that we had the highest prices anywhere in the world by far. Most expensive drugs, prescription drugs, and others. The highest in the world. The whole world was laughing at us. We paid for the rest of the world. We subsidized the whole world. And I said, we're not going to do that. And I started it in the first administration. I took it up. Obviously, Biden wasn't able to do anything about it because you had to get the consent of the drug companies and you had to get the consent. More difficult would be the consent of other nations. The other nations had to agree, but they were paying a fraction, sometimes 10%, 20%, 40%, 70% less. So I had to call them and I had to get them on. And I said, if you don't do it, we're going to have to charge you tariffs. And they all said no at first, very politely. They said, sir, we can't do that. We're not going to double our prices. They had to double their prices, and in some cases triple their price, and we would come down. So a pill that sold for $10 in Germany would sell for $130 in New York. Same pill from the same company, the same factory, the same plant, same laboratory, from $10, and we pay $130. I say, no. Now the world is a bigger place, so it's not as bad as it sounds for them. So they went up to 20, and we came down to 20. So we now have the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world. We're tied with the lowest, but we're basically its favorite nation. So we have the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world from the highest drug prices anywhere in the world. Now, what that does for your health care, I mean, I see these fake polls where the Democrats have wonderful numbers on this stuff, and they are horrible. What they've done, Obamacare is a total disaster. It's a costly wreck. It's unaffordable. We call it the Unaffordable Care Act. It's a disgrace. They never even thought of being able to do something like this. They didn't even try. So I got the drug companies first, and then I got the countries. And the drug companies agreed because they knew the countries wouldn't agree. And when I called Germany, France, when I called the UK, when I called all of these countries, I said, you got to do it. It's unfair. We're paying 10 times more than you're paying for the same drug. You can't do this. And they said, well, we're not going to do that because we're going to have to double our price in order to make you happy. I said, no, maybe you're going to have to triple your price. They said, well, we can't do it. I said, that's all right. if you can't do it, then I can't do something also. And I'm going to charge you very substantial tariffs, which are far more than we're talking about. And they all said, we'd love to do it. We would love to do it. It would be our great honor to do it. So nobody else would do this. This would have never happened. So your drug prices have gone down by numbers not even think. Well, my first term, I had the privilege of having lower drug prices from the beginning of the year till the end for the first time in 28 years. You remember. And I called a news conference to announce it. So the year had ended, and I was turned out 1/8 of a percent, 1/8 of a percent, little tiny this much. It went down that much.
He must mean Trump XRX. Go look up Trump RX.
During 1 year. First time in 28 years it went down. It was always like this, just up, more expensive. And I called the news conference. I was so proud of myself. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, the first time in 28 years, drug prices have gone down from January till the end of December. And I want to just congratulate everybody for being a part of this wonderful experiment. And 1/8 of a point now, we're talking about 400, 500, 600% coming down. We pay the lowest drug prices anywhere in the world from the highest. So, and I'll say it again and again because the press doesn't want to report it. The fake news doesn't want to report it. They don't want to talk about it. What that does for healthcare, Bobby, is unbelievable because medicine is a big part of healthcare. So I wish that people.
Sorry about that. Well, while you're here, like, share, subscribe, channel, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have not become a member, please do so. And if you can't do that, like, share, and subscribe to the channel.
Would understand that, and I hope they're going to vote for us in the midterms because you'll see some stuff that will be horrible because they can blow it very fast if they don't know what they're doing. So your drug prices are great. I saw Spain yesterday, and I watched the catastrophe that took place. It looks like an invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people. And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected, except worse, much bigger.
He's talking about the same thing that I mentioned earlier. I think it was up to 500 people were trying to escape from Spain or were in Spain or escape from Spain or whatever the case may be, escaping the borders of Morocco. But I'll play it for you. Like I said, I'm just going to play little tad bits of this, and then I'll go straight into that. But today's main topic is, what has Trump done for you? Trump has collected or wasted billions and billions of dollars. Trump is a millionaire off of a president's salary. What has he done for you?
Much easier to get into, despite the fact that we have built thousands of miles of wall.
Why is that gray around the vines?
But we didn't have that, forget it. We have the safest border in the world. If we're not in office, our country will be invaded at levels that make Spain look small time. And when I watched
I just now found this out.
I'm going to say it because I knew you were going to be at Camp David. And I say that's going to be a talking point for the midterms. Because when you look at what happened,
no, he was not.
What to do, and it's happening again today. They're coming in by the tens of thousands. They're just invading the country.
I guess that's why he went bankrupt 6 times.
Weak law, bad management, but very liberal law. They passed a couple of laws, and people read. People are smart. They read from other countries, and they swam that 3-mile swim or however they got in, but nobody's seen anything like it. That will look good compared to what's going to happen to the United States. The biggest thing, the worst thing that Biden did is allowing 25 million people into our country, because many of those people are criminals. They're murderers. A lot of them are 11,888. A lot of them are gone now. We got them out. But they allowed people to come into this country that you can't allow to come into a country. We're also making an unprecedented investment in the United States Armed Forces, where we're doing great. And we rebuilt the armed forces. We rebuilt our military in my first term. But we are doing great with our military. They spent a lot of money in our military. They gave away $300 billion worth of ammo and everything else in Biden's term. But we're building it up fast, and we just have a great military. That's all there is to it. But we rebuilt it in my first term, and we're using it in my second term with Venezuela and other places, and Iran now. Iran is doing very poorly. Just in case you read incorrect stories, they're doing very, very poorly. They're having a hard time. They've been very dishonest. They've been very dishonorable to deal with. But that makes no difference. They're doing very, very poorly. We're also making that investment and looking forward to getting $1.5 trillion next year. People see now how important it is. We want to keep a safe country. We have to keep a safe country. And the good news is all of that equipment is made in the USA. So we're making it here. It's jobs. And each one of our defense groups are building literally at least 4 new massive plants as we speak, because we want them to move faster. We have the best equipment in the world, but we want them to move faster. We don't want to wait a year or a year and a half. We want to wait a week, maybe. So that's happening, and I think the results are very good. They're building at levels that nobody's ever seen before. And we've had tremendous success. So the military.
There's 200 people. Can we get the likes up, please? Got over 200 people. Let's get the likes up.
And we have a great relationship with Venezuela. We're working with partners with Venezuela now, taking out tens of millions of barrels of oil and going to Houston, going to Alaska, going to Louisiana, going to different places for refineries. And it's been very much amazing. The administration has done more in 18 months than most administrations have done in 8 years if you had a 2-termer. We've done more in 18 months than anyone's ever seen before. Nobody's ever seen. This is the golden age of America. And we have a war that's going on. As you call it a war, maybe I call it a military operation, because they have no Navy. It's been obliterated. Their Air Force has been obliterated. They have no planes. Their missiles have been largely, they have some left. They have some, but they have far fewer than they had 4 or 5 months ago. Their manufacturing capacity is almost gone.
Yeah, those same missiles have hit U.S. military ground troops. Has hit bunkers. While you sit here and play God for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And all I'm asking is, where is our money?
The drone capacity is almost gone, and very few, but they have some. If they have one, that's too many as far as I'm concerned. But we've done an amazing job with Venezuela. We've done an amazing job here. We're in there for 5 months. You know, I know that people like to say, because we've done a much bigger job, much more important job than we originally anticipated. So we're in there for 5 months, and
nah, fuck that. Fuck all that. Where is our money? You promised us a $5,000 check. Where's our check?
If you look at Vietnam, they were in there for 20 years. You look at Afghanistan, they were in there for many years. You look at any one of the wars, Korea, any one of them, they're in there for many years. We're in for 5 months, and we have obliterated their military capacity. Again, they've got some left, but soon they won't have some left. So I just want to thank everybody around this table. You've been very special. I want to thank a lot of the media people, because many of you have been very, very fair. That's one of the reasons you're here, frankly. But you've been very fair. You've covered me this time much more fairly, I think, than the first term. The first term was a great success. We had the greatest economy in history in the first term, and this term is going to blow it away. I think this term is going to actually blow it away. So it's an honor to have you, and I'd like to ask our great Vice President, J.D. Vance, to say a few words, followed by Marco and Pete and Scott and Bobby Kennedy. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Please do.
Well, great. Thanks, Mr. President. First of all, thanks for having us at this historical and beautiful place. And it's an honor to be on the team, an honor to be able to work on fraud, which is what I want to talk about today. Though I know we have a lot of things going on. This has been an amazing team. From Kelly Loeffler at SBA to Doug at the VA, to Todd and Bobby Kennedy. This really has required a whole of administration approach to try to tackle fraud. There are a few things that I want to talk about and celebrate. The first is that just since the beginning of the fraud task force that I started under the president's leadership and direction, we have identified $230 billion of fraud that's being perpetrated against the American people. And we have halted already $56 billion of that. It's sometimes hard once the money has already gone out the door.
He always
it's hard to
falls
get it
asleep.
back. But stopping it from going out the door is how we save the American people. $56 billion. And of course, we're going to keep on working on that. Just today, Mr. President, we will announce 17 new anti-fraud actions that will total about a third of $1 billion, and that's added to the 230.
Hey, real quick, I want you guys to ask yourself, since the majority of you in this chat despise Israel, ask yourself this question. How much money has Donald Trump taken from Israel? How much, let me reiterate, how much has Donald Trump received from Israel? Think about it.
$1 billion that we've already uncovered. And I want to just talk for the benefit of the American people about why do we about this? Because what I always try to remind people is that fraud has two victims. So to give one concrete example, there is a program that is administered by Medicaid, and that program ensures that low-income moms and low-income babies have access to neonatal care. Now, I think most Americans probably share my view that this is one of the great things about the United States of America, that if we see a baby and we see a young mother that requires help, we help our fellow Americans. That's a good thing. It's something that we should be proud of. And yet, there is a program that has defrauded the moms and the babies who benefit from these. You've gotten people who've gotten rich by setting up false companies that are providing false services. So who loses in that equation? Number one, of course, is the American taxpayer that is $230 billion poorer because of the fraud that this country has let go on. But I actually think most importantly is that we've seen that program run out of money. So we've seen moms and babies unable to access the health care that they need because the fraudsters have gotten rich. That is a disgrace. And until the president ordered us to stop it, no one was doing anything about it. So we've made a lot of progress, Mr. President, in just under a year, but we're going to keep on working at it because we believe the American people deserve to have their money spent as you and the Congress have directed it.
There's big numbers you're finding, tremendous numbers. They look like Elliot Ness. Does anybody know who Elliot? They look like that group of people you have lined up behind you. They're doing a great job.
Yes, sir.
Billions, think of not millions, billions of dollars.
Looks like J.D. Vance is going to be your next president.
And you haven't seen anything yet. We have things happening that people aren't going to believe. The level of corruption and fraud that took place under the Biden administration was unprecedented. And Minnesota, California, Maine, believe it or not. You know, you think of Maine as this wonderful place.
Yep.
It's the level of corruption is incredible, all over. So, great job.
Because the American people love him.
Please.
Oh, my turn. Well, first of all, thank you for bringing us out here.
The American people love J.D.
For the
Vance.
first time in a year and a half, which is the golf cart.
If you think J.D. Vance is going to be the next president, put a one in the chat.
Followed in the news, obviously, the events in the Middle East and others who talk about that. Not that they're not important, but there's some other issues happening around the world.
If you think J.D. Vance is going to be the next president, put a one in the chat.
President, that you've shown great leadership in that have not gotten nearly as much attention. I think they deserve to mention today. The first is the International Criminal Court is an illegitimate international organization that, frankly, illegitimate. They've made themselves illegitimate because they claim that even if you're not a member of that court, they can come after you. What that literally means in the future is that American political elites and others could find themselves under indictment by this International Criminal Court. If you want to know a little bit about it, Jack Smith used to work.
Well. Look who we have here, ladies and gentlemen. The person who is sitting side by side with Donald Trump, his lawyer. He is just my lawyer. I just serve him. Look where he's sitting, ladies and gentlemen. Right? I never had my lawyer sit right beside me. Oh, am I wrong? Am I tripping? Am I tripping? That long, hard conference that this person to the left, my left you had. Oh my God! Like it seems like to me we're all in bed with communists, aren't we? Wow.
These are the people that think they can go out and basically indict any world leader and follow them into The Hague. So we tried to get them to reform and listen to us. They wouldn't do it. They're very arrogant. We've now begun an effort to really try to bring that court to heel.
By the way, there's no information that they're after me. It could happen. Just so you know, just you're talking about it, I'm saying that means maybe he's not trying to defend me. He is trying to defend Bibi and various other people. But there are many people that shouldn't be looked at that way. But there is no indication that I'm one of them at this moment.
That's right. Well, and I actually think the people who are biggest danger in our system are servicemen, people in uniform. They'll try to go out for the rest of their lives, will not be able to travel anywhere in the world with their families because they can be arrested on one of these items. Imagine, like, you're a soldier, you fought in the war, and 20 years later they try to come grab you. So this is a big problem. So we've had dozens of countries already join us in this effort. Since we started 2 weeks ago, 5 countries have already quit the ICC and notified them that they're leaving, and we think there'll be more. The second thing is we had an unprecedented ministerial. 60 countries came to Washington, and we're a part of an effort where we were shedding light on far-left terrorism and violence. You know, the bomb goes off somewhere and it's tied to some right-wing group or what I don't consider.
Oh, be careful with that. If you say you're done with the U.S. military, they're going to call you a patriot.
Consider neo-Nazis right-wing, consider them Nazis, right? But you're going to get a lot of attention on that. But if it's a leftist group, an Antifa group, that gets no coverage, or they ignore the ideological spin and the ideological reason behind it. So we've got 60 countries came up here and hopefully creating a strong to go after far-left violent terrorism. And go after it, call it by name, and I think we're building a very strong coalition there. We've had some successes in the Middle East, Mr. President, as you know, on the diplomatic front. The deal with Lebanon and Israel is unprecedented. President was here a week ago. I think that was the first visit by a Lebanese president in over 30-some. In fact, this is the first time the Israelis and the Lebanese government have spoken at the official level in close to 30 years. And now, 60 years later, a lot of work to be done to get that peace and build it. But it's a real achievable. And of course, as you announced last night, Mr. President, this disarmament deal that you brought about with Steve and Jared's work on Hamas is another big step as well. It's something a lot of people thought would never happen. It needs to happen, but the fact that they've even agreed to it is a real achievable. Last point is on the Western Hemisphere. For the first time in 15, 20 years, the overwhelming majority of the countries in the Western Hemisphere are now led by pro-American leaders and pro-American governments. It's an extraordinary achievement. All of it happening through virtually every election that's happened in the you were elected president has elected someone who is American. And I think this is an incredible situation. And last but not least, and I have to thank a number of agencies here, particularly the Department of War, after that terrible earthquake in Venezuela, within 36 hours, the full force of the American government was on the ground providing humanitarian assistance. It was a sight to behold. The U.S.
I forgot who started that earthquake. It was meant for Haiti, but you hit Venezuela. I might be a little bit off, but I remember that earthquake. I do.
Ford, I think, was in their port. Our Marines and armed service personnel.
You do know there are forces among us that can create Mother Nature instead of letting Mother Nature take its course. Just like the thing that happened in Dubai, where these fools made like their own personal rain cloud, and it rained for damn near 2 days. And it was just a flood everywhere. So these people, man has the ability to create anything they want. Disaster. Just disasters all over the place. Who do you think broke the levees in New Orleans? Ask yourself.
So now we're helping run their airport and their tower. It is one of the fastest, most dramatic, and most effective humanitarian responses certainly in recent history, if not ever. And they came at the direction of the president. In fact, within an hour of that earthquake hitting, I remember because I was overseas, the president called and said, make sure we go in there and help these people recover from this. And we did. And thanks to your leadership, Mr. President. It's a great story. Enough needs to be told about it because the credit goes to so many agencies represented here today, but really the Department of War's effort was phenomenal. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Marco. And just before we continue, I want to just congratulate Jay Clayton. He's with us
Hey,
today.
Tanya.
He's had a big victory. He's going to do a fantastic job. He's only
How
done
you
his homework
been?
and has been about doing a fantastic job. Congratulations.
These people are playing right in your faces while he's soaking up billions and millions of dollars into his bank account along with his predecessor's bank account. I just ask you, what is he leaving you?
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for the invitation, the opportunity to be here. It's an honor for the War Department to help run this facility also, from the food to the fence line. It's an honor to have you, and it's great Americans here and all around the country and all the world who are the core of what keep us safe. But in order to do that, you have to have a leader that's willing to put in a position to do it. And that's my takeaway, Mr. President, is sort of 3 points. One, it takes courage. 2, it takes restoring the spirit, which you've done. And 3, it takes investment, and not just investment, but a generational investment. And I think people miss that. The courage to take the seal of war, to say we're going to do it every single day, and we're going to do it on American people. The courage to bomb the Houthis and say we will maintain freedom of navigation. Wonder why they're not involved in this conflict, the Houthis? You could proxy Iran because they felt the weight of American power for 45 days. And you had the courage to do that. The courage to do midnight camp through the 12-day war by obliterating their nuclear sites. Something no one, other presidents had the option on their table to do, but they never pulled the trigger because of the complication, because of the challenge, because of the risk. Courage. Courage to take on cartels and drug boats, and now forming the ACCC, the American Counter Cartel Coalition, with all those friendly governments that Marco talked about, who want to shoulder to shoulder, not just with America, but with a bold, strong America, with clear leadership. The courage to go get the bureau in the most dangerous, most heavily guarded house, inside the most heavily guarded fort, inside the most heavily guarded town in the capital city.
Yeah, for those who are coming in, please like and share and subscribe to the channel. And do support with a heart, support with a super chat, support with a cash app. Well, support, I like those hearts. I like those particular hearts, in the flow states. I do like those. Those are actually cute. But do support the channel. And again, for those who are just coming in, my question is to you, for those who are coming in, what has Trump done for you? While Trump is in his own little money pit, what is he giving back to the American people other than high gas prices? This is the question that I ask.
Middle of the night, and change the entire dynamic of that country and that region and the world, saw what the American military is capable to do. But that doesn't happen unless Commander-in-Chief says they're authorized to do it, and will take the handcuffs off when you do it to ensure that Americans come home. The courage to undertake that fury and this Iranian regime ensure they never have a nuclear weapon, remains or commitment. And frankly, the courage to negotiate with people that have shown no willingness to do so honestly, with incredible negotiators who are the best in the world, and give them every opportunity to do it, give those things up peacefully. All of that takes guts. But that comes on the back of the change in the spirit of our department. We talk about spirit all the time, and you're right to do so. When you rip out DEI, when you rip out social engineering and social justice, and you put in merit, and then you untie the hands of commanders to enforce discipline and accountability to get back to basics, then you get historic reenlistment inside our ranks. Our best people are staying because they want to be in that kind of department. And then historic recruitment record amongst young Americans every month. Our department breaks records. And when did that trend line start? On election day, 2024, when the American people said, I want to serve under this president. And then up to that new name, the Department of War, has become the ethos, the warrior ethos of our department. Again, spirit. And I will. The flyovers really do continue to take around. But that's also spirit. Parades, 250, flyovers, the American people seeing.
I'm sorry, but I can't listen to people who constantly kiss Trump's ass. I just can't do it. I have a hard time listening with J.D. Vance, what he has to say, but I can't continue listening to this guy.
And feeling their military in ways that have not in the past, that spirit. And finally, Mr. President, a generational investment. You rebuilt the military your first term, and you've spent in your first year $1 trillion, and now you're committed in working with Congress to get $1.5 trillion. But this is not the same way we funded our department in the past. This is a businessman in charge. This is a deputy secretary of our department who's a turnaround guy, just like the president is, saying we will not fund money, we will not fund the department the way we have in the past. In fact, so far, $75 billion in private investment from defense companies who are now investing in new plants, new equipment, new assembly lines to build the munitions of the future faster than ever possible. That's saving taxpayer dollars because the companies themselves are investing. That would never, personal freedom would never happen without you. So just like we use a lot of things Ronald Reagan's building was a part of, in this administration and in future administrations, they will look back at Donald Trump and the build-up that he has done, and that will be the deterrence of the future will be established because of your investment. So thank you, Mr. President.
Scott, please.
I'm honored to be here in this historic place as we celebrate our nation's 250th anniversary. And I think if we look back, whether our founders was President Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Alexander Hamilton could not have imagined the economy that we would have created. It is the envy of the world. And as you said, we have record investment coming in. We've never seen anything like it. And we're pulling away from the rest of the world because of your leadership, the policies that you did from day one in terms of digital assets, in terms of technology, and bringing back American manufacturing. You've done it again. You had the incredible economy during your first term, and we are seeing that carry over here. And it is in stark contrast to the Biden economy, which was government jobs, government spending, and high inflation, the worst inflation in 50 years. And with the working family...
Stop kissing his ass. God, that's pathetic.
Every Democrat voted against. It is the perfect barbell for this economy. On one side, you have full expensing for factories, for equipment, for farm structures. On the other side, your four signature policies: promises made, promises kept, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, deductibility of auto loans if you buy an American-made car. And the Americans are starting to feel it. Core inflation is low. Consumer confidence is strong. We have the highest consumer confidence, came up today, in 5 months. And Main Street is back. Small banks are lending, thanks to your policies. Small banks, community banks are lending again. And
lending to who?
Are starting to feel it.
Who are they lending to?
The Trump accounts are the most successful program.
It certainly ain't us.
We've had 7 million families sign up.
And I'm trying to keep it political here.
We get to open enrollment, and we will have 70 million families who have signed up for this. 38% of American families, households, have no exposure to our great equity market. And thanks to you, we're going to have an ownership society. An ownership society. You were one of the first presidents to create assets for the American people, not more debt. We had the biggest tax refund season ever. Trade deals, tax cuts, energy dominance, and regulatory efforts. America is ushering in the greatest reshoring wave in our history. In June, our manufacturing sector expanded.
But you complain that people of color have jobs already.
Construction jobs, and those are going.
But you want to get them out and you want to send them home.
We've got Main Street prosperity. Real wages are up $1,000. And sir, what you've done again too is the bottom 25% of wage earners, just like in your first term, are outperforming the top 25%. This is a working families administration that in the past year, that group had.
You're going to have no choice but to vote blue.
Increases 5.5%. If
you want him out of office, you're going to have no choice.
Has done. So you've done it again. And these are private sector jobs we're creating. As you often say in these meetings, we could have created 1 million, 2 million government jobs, but we didn't. The private sector is created. We've got incentives, we've got money coming in, and we are rebuilding. So
money coming in,
energy dominance, thanks.
Money coming in, and we are $60 trillion debt American. $60 trillion in debt. Where's this money coming through? Oh, I forgot. The tariffs that we're paying on, right?
To you and these policies, you can come to the U.S., you can have regulatory certainty, tax certainty, and energy certainty. So it is the best place in the world to build your factory. And finally, I want to add, it has been a pleasure to be a part, or a privilege to be a part of, as we've gone from epic fury to economic fury, to constrict, on your orders, constrict the Iranian regimes, the financial tentacles all around the world. We started it, and on your orders, we started in March 2025. In December of 2025, the largest bank in Iran collapsed. The central bank had to print money, caused inflation. Now they got 180% inflation. They aren't able to pay their troops. And on your orders, we are searching for their assets all around the world, and that money will go to the Iranian people, Americans who have been harmed by the Iranians, whether the USS Cole, or the barracks.
You know, the more money you print out, the more expensive it becomes. You do know that, right?
Lebanon, or it will go back back to when the Iranians attacked the ships coming out. So it's been a privilege to be part of that, and I look forward to the rest of it.
Thank you. I want to just add that today,
Kerry David, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me the more money that Americans print out, the more money we print, the more we suffer through inflation. Tell me I'm wrong. Because that gets expensive. I forgot what the hell else I was going to say.
there are more people working in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. We have more people working today. And we'll think of that number.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Today, by far, than at any time in the history of our country. So it's been something very special. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let me just take a moment to take note of the historical.
Oh, hell no.
Before the press came in, you asked all the cabinet members who had been to Camp David before about, I think.
I bet you in the chat you don't know who's talking right now.
About 3/4 of them had. I raised my hand, but I haven't been here for 62 years. I came here on weekends, as many weekends as we could between 1961 and 1963.
Check this out. None of us like Biden either.
My father loved this place. My uncle
Kennedy, yeah, Kennedy, yeah.
About this because on the history books, but he was resentful at Dwight Eisenhower for renaming it Camp David. And if he had made it to his second term, he was going to rename it Shangri-La, which was the original name that Roosevelt had named it. But my uncle prided himself on being the most open, transparent administration in history. He was the first president to have press conferences. During his 1,000 days in office, he had about 30 press conferences. You, Mr. President, have press conferences every day. Nobody's had anything like that. And here you've opened the inner sanctum of the presidency for the first time in history, and I think that's a beautiful thing. But you also face, although you gave these guys a lot of compliments, the most hostile press corps that any president in the United States history.
I was trying
Why don't you line up and... Never mind. Hey! Carrie! Don't do that! Don't do that in my chat. Do not call that man Hitler. Do not call him Hitler. They're going to get you. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Anyway, I'm going to talk just briefly about
Call him Hitler.
which is the MFN, and just so everybody has background.
You're going to get it, Gary.
Promised to fix that disparity between what we pay and what the other developed countries pay. When you came into office, the list price for Ozempic was $1,350 for Americans. You could get it at any pharmacy in London, Hamburg, Frankfurt for $88. And every President Bush.
No, he ain't going to get flagged for that. No, he's not going to get flagged.
President Obama have all promised fixes. None of them did anything. You fixed it. But today,
for calling Trump Hitler, no, you can't get flagged for that. You can't get flagged. Now, if you call him the C word, I might get flagged. If you call him the C word, but you're not gonna get flagged for that.
why do you leave office assuming that's in 2028?
This is the same guy that can't even answer questions.
That are available to Americans, they will be paying the lowest prices in the world. Trump RX, just in the short time since we put it out, has saved Americans $700 million. We now have 800 drugs on there. We have deals with Amazon, with Good RX. We're adding more and more drugs every day. And I'll just give you one example. Praluent is a very popular cholesterol drug. Its list price is $522. That's what everybody's paying. We now have it on Trump RX for $237. That means that the 300,000 Americans who take that drug will be saving $3,700 a year on pharmaceuticals every year. And you can apply that across the board. This is going to change. It's making pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, everybody loves Trump in Canada. Is one of the reasons why Canadians are not back here in the U.S. Isn't that right?
Most affordable, the most affordable in this country of any country in the world. Well, thank you, Mr. President.
How are you doing on the autism research?
We will have an answer for you. We just got
That's so important. Okay, we'll be talking about that. We'll be having something of interest. Such an important thing. There's a picture of your uncle right there on the wall, and he's looking handsome guy. And that's quite a picture. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So maybe that gave you the idea to start out that way, but it's quite a picture. Any questions?
Mr. President, Mr. President.
We've seen these strikes between Iran and the United States in the past 10 days. How do you advise the ceasefire and getting diplomacy back on? Well, I think we just want to win. We just want to win. We're doing very well. We're trying to be nice as you can be in a situation like that. But they're being decimated. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft. Doesn't mean they don't have any capability. They have some, but very little. We just want to win. We don't want to have them. It's very simple. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, and they can't have a nuclear weapon. If they did, the Middle East would have been wiped out by now. If I didn't stop the JCPOA, the Obama deal, if I didn't...
Jesus Christ! For every time if I had a nickel if I had a penny, a nickel, a quarter, a dime, for every time he mentioned Obama's name, I swear to God, I would be paying y'all. I would be paying y'all money. Because I would be a rich man by now. It's always Obama. Obama this, Obama that. Obama this, Obama that. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. And support your boy. Support your boy. Support the channel. I believe Israel would no longer be with us and be parts of the Middle East and perhaps other. These people are crazy. So they cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't. Over the next 4 weeks, we'll be hitting them very hard. And at some point, they're going to say, we just can't take it anymore.
Mr. President, on the disarmament deal that you announced, do you have assurances from Israel that they are on board with this deal? And what comes first? Does Israel pull back and then Hamas disarms, or does Hamas?
And I got to get some water real quick, but for those who who are not Obama or anti-Obama, you might want to be careful. I have no issue with it, but people in the chat might have an issue with it. So just be careful.
Need to disarm, and then Israel leaves Gaza.
We have an understanding with Israel. Israel's very happy about it. Israel helped us. And they've been very good. They've been very good about it. Most people said that would be a deal that would be undoable. Now, will it go through its ups and downs? It's a very complex situation over there. The people are very complex and difficult. Many cases wonderful, many cases not so wonderful. But that will be it's a great breakthrough. Nobody's ever thought that would be possible to disarm Hamas. That shows you how much success we're having with Iran. Because if you go 4 months ago, 5 months ago, a deal like that would have been impossible. So it's a big step for the Middle East, and people are really impressed by it, and they're surprised by it.
And what comes first, Mr. President? What comes first?
Mr. Infantino speak to you about a proposal to sell a stake in the World Cup, and is that something you support?
About who?
Did FIFA or Mr. Infantino speak to you about their proposal to sell a stake in the
No, I
World
never
Cup?
spoke to him.
Mr. President, you said this morning on Truth Social that victims of government abuse should be paid back.
Yeah.
Even if it's not the anti-weaponization fund, which you still want the acting attorney general to find a new way to do that?
Weaponization against large numbers of people in our country by the Biden administration and by Obama, but by the Biden administration in particular in this case. But large numbers of people, their lives have been ruined. They've been destroyed. Families have been, decimated. They've gone to prison for no reason whatsoever. There's never been a group of people, most likely, I can think of a couple that were treated pretty badly, groups, but there's essentially never been a group of people treated so badly as these people. And this fund was not for me. This fund was for those people that have been weaponized, that have been abused. Now, I was abused. They attacked my house in Mar-a-Lago, where I live. And big damages should have been given to me. I don't want anything. I'm not talking about myself. I think that there's a group of people in this country, history will show, that were treated like nobody else has ever been treated. So badly, so horribly. Their families have been ruined. Many, many suicides have committed suicide. People that were very successful that wanted to go to a rally or an event and ended up spending the rest of their lives in horror. So, you can say what you want about the fund, and they've agreed to not have a fund, but there are a lot of people that are very upset about it. A lot of Republican people, a lot of Democrat people are very upset about it. A lot of people were covered. I wasn't covered by that fund. I don't want to be covered by the fund. I probably was abused more than anybody in the history of our country, but I wasn't looking for that. But there were a lot of people, and I'll tell you something, Todd Blanche is a very, very good man, and he shouldn't be in the middle of this. He should get approved, because you will never get anybody like him. You're never going to get anybody. And to make him a pawn in this whole thing, this is being done by a senator, and I don't really blame him, to be honest with you. I endorse his opponent, and as soon as I endorsed his opponent went through the roof, and he won the primary election in Texas for Senate. And the man that lost, the man that I didn't endorse, has become very angry, and that's okay. I understand that. I probably would do the same thing. You want to know the truth? I think I'd do the same thing.
Mr. President, do you agree, just to be clear, do you agree with the acting Attorney General that the anti-weaponization fund is dead? And why not just put that in writing?
Well, it's dead. But, I wish it weren't, to be honest with you. I think people were horribly treated, horribly abused. This has nothing to do with Todd. This was me. Horribly abused, and I'd like to see them compensated for the pain. They lost their families.
What the hell is he talking about?
Many people committed suicide. They went down for an innocent journey. And I'm not only talking there, I'm talking about not even having to do with that. The way they were treated. The Biden administration and the Obama administration weaponized government and destroyed lives.
Good Lord, have mercy.
On the scope of the audit immunity deal in order to get Attorney General Blanche confirmed?
Well, no, he should be approved forthwith. You're not going to get a person like that. Everybody agrees to it. Don't forget, Senator Gordon thought he was phenomenal until he lost.
You know what? In fairness, I'm going to have to go back, Barb, if you're still in here. I'm going to have to go back and retrace everything the Obama administration, not the Biden administration. I don't give two shits about Sleepy Joe, but I'm gonna have to go back 8 years, right? 2 terms, 8 years of this Obama administration to see and in comparison what he has done versus what this administration has done. It's only fair.
When he lost, is that a correct statement? You come from Texas.
Yes.
He thought this was the most incredible person. Then when he lost because of me. I endorsed somebody else. And as soon as I endorsed the other person became a rocket ship upward. And he lost. And, I think I'd be the same.
What would you say?
I shouldn't say that, but I'd be upset also. And so I fully understand it. He shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't be that way. But he is that way. He's become a very angry person. And I understand you have a couple of others that have caused their defeat too. And, probably here.
What jobs did Donald Trump give Americans? Give me 5.
From them too, yeah.
Mr. President, there's a report that you got a proposal from the military to go big and hit them hard over 10 or 14 days.
Well, we're going big.
Are you going to consider?
We've already gone big. Look, what's big? They had 159 ships. That was their entire Navy, 159. their entire Navy is laying at the bottom of the sea. I'd say that's going. They had 200 airplanes, they're all gone. Every one of them. They're not one airplane. They had anti-aircraft weaponry, very good, but it didn't work. And it's all gone. Their radar is all gone. Their leaders are all gone. Everything's all gone.
So he had to fire most of his secretary, most of his staff, to let people like the computer tech boy fired 300 black women just to hire white Americans? I'm not getting you.
But they'll fight onward.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, you said the other day that you're not sure about whether to grant Ukraine the Patriot missile license that have been discussed. I want to see more from Zelensky before you take that action?
Well, it's a big step. Look, we have the greatest weapons in the world. We have
Thank
the
you.
greatest drones in the world. People don't know that.
Elon Biscuit.
We have, in the case of
Elon Biscuit.
Zelensky,
Thank you.
he'd like
Thank
to
you for that.
Have some Patriots. I'd like to have some Tomahawks, which are, lethal, one offensive, one defensive. But give somebody
All that they're screwing up the internet.
missiles were shot. They were going 8,600 miles an hour. Think 8,600. Now a car, if you go 60, it gets to be a little faster. If you go 100, 8,600 miles an hour, and they were big missiles.
Martin Luther King won the Nobel Peace Prize. Later on, Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump wins the Nobel Peace Prize. He has to go pick it up. This is how jealous the man is.
And they were shot at Jordan, and our guys were there. Bing, 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 bing. 5. Bing, 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 bing. Right? I don't want to be back. 6. I had to be very careful. That would have been a great soundbite. There were 5 missiles, and we shot all 5 down before they got close. Nobody else has that capacity. These weapons are incredible. We have to be very careful about letting somebody build them. It's very important now. We are building many plants now to make those, and the Tomahawk missile is.
This motherfucker.
Nobody's ever said anything like it. You have to be very judicious, but you have to be very careful. Now, we have not, we're talking about it, but it's a hard thing to give away that kind of technology. And I don't think this would ever happen. You give that technology, they can someday turn on you. That is possible. You look at war, it's happened a couple of times over the years, right? So we have to be very careful. I mean, we guard that. We have the greatest military in the world, but we have the greatest weapons in the world. Now we have to make them a little bit faster because we've given a lot away. President Biden.
Yeah, you giving a lot away plus money. You help rebuild Iran's people, the people that you said that you was going to obliterate. Now you're back at war with them again.
Biden, unfortunately, gave a lot of aid to Ukraine, and and so did I. I mean, I gave them the javelins, the tank busters. Without the javelins, that war would have been a one-day war. It would have been over. They wiped out the tanks going up to Kiev, where they got stuck in the mud. It was going very nice. It would have been Kiev, where they got stuck in the mud.
Whoever got the camera needs to do some adjustments.
And they're not, you can't copy them. It's a little like NVIDIA. They have a chip. They say you cannot copy it. The complexity is so great you cannot. Most things you copy. China's known for it, other countries, we do something, and I guess we copy also. Most things you can copy pretty easily. There's a chip that they made, their ultimate chip, and they always have the ultimate chip. And I say, well, why doesn't somebody copy it? Because they can't.
Who said Obama was a pedophile?
We have the greatest weapons.
Obama may be a lot of things, but a pedophile is not one of them.
You
Sorry.
cannot copy them, so we have to be very careful.
As Hamas disarms as part of this plan, who do you see as taking possession of those weapons that they have? Does that go to the new government?
It's going to be the Board of Peace, mostly. It's going to be run by the Board. This Board of Peace has been it's led by some amazing people. Board of Peace.
Mr. President, you said they do have some capabilities left. Should Americans be prepared for these back and forth attacks to continue until Iran simply isn't able of striking back?
They'll get weaker. They'll get a little stronger, maybe now, but they'll get weaker, and then they peter out. Yeah, sure. I think so. I mean, it'd be foolish to say no. You always have to keep your guard up.
What is the status of talks? Who from the administration?
Well, they always want to talk, but they break their word so often. Steve is talking. Jared, we have very good people.
Do you have any evidence of that?
We have great people talking. Marco's involved.
I wanted to hear his evidence.
But
I wanted to hear his evidence.
As an example, we'll talk about nuclear. And we'll be in there talking about nuclear for 7 hours. I say, why do you need 7? You can take 10 minutes. You have 5 minutes. You should solve it. But 7 hours, and then they'll go out, and I'll say, they discuss nuclear. And they'll go out and they'll say, we never discussed nuclear. And I say, why do they say that?
Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel.
Do you think that you can reach a deal with Iran, given that you talked about how disloyal they are?
I'm losing faith in them because they do lie and they do misrepresent. Well, the other day, the 5 missiles were shot. We knocked them down, but we were in the midst of a negotiation. I mean, I'm waiting for Steve to call me. How's the negotiation going? And instead of
300,000 black women lost their jobs because of this nutso.
One of our bases in Jordan.
Correct.
We have bases in Jordan. Fortunately, our people operated the equipment. It's also very complex to operate. You talk about the equipment. It's you have to be, oftentimes you see, when did you go to school? MIT, Caltech. I mean, they go to schools that are not as normal for the military, to be honest with you. We have unbelievably brilliant people operating that equipment.
And when are you going to release the Epstein files? That's all I want to know.
The shots miss, the safety misses, or the accuracy misses. We have unbelievable people. Think of it. We had 111 at one point, a couple of months ago. 111 over a short period of time. Missiles were shot at the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier. Great, beautiful.
Yep, he's the GOAT, all right.
Design-wise.
Yep, he's the GOAT. Trump is the GOAT. Goofy, old-ass troll.
111 missiles going out. Out of the 111 missiles, 100.
That was sad. Somebody throw some tomatoes at me. That was pitiful. I could have came up with something better than that.
Earlier than long before they got there. It was shut down. It was almost, in a couple of cases, it was shut down almost as they were taking off. It's incredible technology. So you have a ship that costs billions of dollars, and you have missiles heading to it. 111 missiles were shot down, routinely shot down. And I spoke to the people. I like to reward people. I call them up on the president. And they were cool as a cucumber.
Mr. President, in the last 2 weeks of strikes by CENTCOM
money keeps you out of jail, fool.
Iran's ability to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. How many more strikes will it take to significantly?
Well, you never know. Look,
money keeps the rich out of jail.
They've got no Navy. They got
except for black people.
Would have given up their habits. So I give them credit for that. I mean, they're known as being tough. They're tough.
That's not Ukraine. What did you tell President Zelensky about the Patriots? Did you explain all that?
I did. I spoke about Patriots. I spoke to him about Tomahawks. I spoke to him about everything. I also spoke to him about let's get this war over with. So last month they had 25,000.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream.
About 25,000 people a month died. Mostly soldiers, almost entirely, but missiles are hitting areas also, but mostly soldiers. They had 25,000 soldiers. The month before that, it was 32,000 soldiers. I said, you got to get this war over with. I think he wants to make a deal, and I think Putin wants to make a deal. But there's a lot of dislike, as you probably noticed.
He seems very reluctant to make concessions, President Putin.
Well, nobody wants to make concessions, but they're both going to have to make some concessions. I mean, they got to make a deal. 25,000 young, beautiful people, soldiers, mostly soldiers, are dying a month. It's, I ended 8 wars. That was the war I thought would maybe go first. And it really hasn't. It's gone less. I mean, I ended wars that were, in theory, much more difficult to end. We had
the delusions of grandeur. I guess he's really trying to do this to up his base a little bit, or merely he's trying to get into the heads of other people for the simple fact that he has not ended 8 wars, although he has started 8 wars. I think he meant that. He has possibly unalived more people in other countries than Joe Biden has. But then again, I don't have faith in Joe Biden either.
a couple that were into the 30-year category. Well, the Congo, look at the Congo and Rwanda. That was a nasty war. And peace, I don't know how long that was going to stay. But we ended India, Pakistan. 11 planes were shut down. That was raging. That was God. I used tariffs. I said, if you're going to go to war, 250% to each of them. And they screamed and yelled and were very angry. They were both angry about it. And a day later they called and they said, we will not go to war. And then I ended up, and the Prime Minister of Pakistan said I saved 50 million lives. Because that's 2 nuclear powers, serious nuclear powers. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I think that Minnesota is behind it. You know who's behind it? Minnesota, because they're grossly incompetent. I think the governor's behind it. I don't think there was an Iranian cyber attack. I think that Minnesota ought to get its act together. It's one of the worst run states. JD will tell you. We found tremendous corruption in Minnesota. And by the way, just gave me a report. Massive future things having to do with corruption in Minnesota are happening right now. Thank you very much.
All right. Before we move on, I would just like to say to all my subscribers, thank you. Thank you. I don't know. I should have did this a little earlier within the program. I should have did this, and I should have said thank you, which I am saying now. Thank you for all the subscribers. I'm at 19,000, I believe, 19,000 and some change. I really want to thank all of you, those who support me and those who quite don't support me. Those in the chat, my mods, my new mods, I would like to definitely thank you for your support. If it wasn't for y'all, I would not be in this position. But if it wasn't for people like the 3 individuals, you already know who you are, I would have possibly would not have been on YouTube. So with that being said, thank you once again. Thank you for the support. Do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you have not yet done so, please become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. And if not, do subscribe with a heart, or, show some love. Show some love for your boy. Now that we got all that out the way, this bum, or I want to say, you literally just heard this dude recycle pretty much everything that this country, what he thinks this country is becoming, and it's becoming to him this bright upcoming pharaoh. Hold on a second. You're just gonna have to call my daughter. So anyway, where was I at? Okay, because I was getting a phone call. But anyway, he thinks that this United States of America is brightly becoming what he envisions it to be. Not so much, very much true, because number one, you can't do it within 4 years. You can't do it within you can't make America what you think it's going to be within 4 years. So that's a bunch of bullshit. Secondly, when you were in inauguration and you told the American people all this what you were going to do, and you come up with lie after lie after lie. Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on, people. Hold on. I got something that needs to... Give me 1 second, y'all. I got a phone call. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's see what this...
Dollars. For others, it is $50 million. His businesses, the stuff that he gets, money from, that puts more money in his pocket, Trump becomes the ultimate micromanager. Now, let me tell you just a little story, coming a little close. A long time ago, I was in a meeting with Donald Trump. And at one point, Ivanka Trump walked in with options for different paint colors for the bathroom walls of one of his hotels. Guess what happened? Trump stopped the meeting for a full 15 minutes as he looked through the different colors before settling on the one he liked. And folks, you better believe that was the color they used for those bathrooms. Now, I was thinking about that meeting today when I read this story from the Wall Street Journal about the fundraising operations Trump is micromanaging from inside the White House. They report that, quote, almost every night in the White House, President Trump calls his fundraiser Meredith O'Rourke for an update. Trump asks O'Rourke which companies and donors have cut checks and which haven't, and for how much. He often asks her to make much larger financial requests than she was planning. For some donors, the ask is $5 million. For others, it is $50 million. And the president gives her names to call, often including people who have recently met with him, according to people with knowledge of the calls. Now, even a president who's up for re-election should not be that intimately involved in his own fundraising operation. As a candidate, I can tell you I wasn't, and we were raising some good money. And Donald Trump is not up for re-election as well. He's in his second term as president. He has no more campaigns to run. But the man is still taking time out of his day, a lot of time, to make sure that some of America's richest people and corporations are giving him money that he can play with. According to the Wall Street Journal, SoftBank donated $50 million towards Trump's presidential library. Apple cut a check for around $25 million towards his White House ballroom project, while Microsoft gave around $10 million and Amazon chipped in around $5 million. According to people familiar with the contributions. That's almost $100 million just right there. Meta Platforms recently gave $10 million to a Trump-aligned political committee, people familiar said, on top of a multi-million-dollar donation to the ballroom and a prior $22 million payment to the planned presidential library. As the Journal notes, no sitting American president has ever raised these amounts for his pet projects. And what are those companies getting in return for all that money that Trump is meticulously keeping track of? Well, I think this anecdote tells you everything you need to know on that front. In May, Trump held a meeting with tobacco executives at his Florida golf club. Okay. His fundraiser, Meredith O'Rourke, who is not a government employee, sat in on the meeting. Trump took in millions of dollars in contributions from those companies for his political committees. And shortly after that meeting, Trump's FDA lifted restrictions on flavored vaping products, just what those companies had been asking for. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know where you're going with this. That sounds like a textbook case of corruption. Big Tobacco gives the president money, and then his administration lifts restrictions on the products they sell, the ones that get kids hooked on nicotine. Surely there has never been a more blatant example of apparent corruption, right? Well, hold on to your hats just a little bit longer. This is what Donald Trump calls the Freedom 250 ring. It's about the size of a watch, and it's from the Antwerp World Diamond.
Now that I got that out the way. So, I don't know if you heard or not, but in certain points, in certain meetings that Trump does have, anything can happen in the world. We can be in an emergency situation. We could be at war. We could have an emergency meeting on the economy. This dude stops a meeting just so his wife can enter into the room and talking about what colors the curtain's going to be. If Michelle Obama would have done that to Barack coming into the room like that, the Republicans and that one little Democrat will have a real big issue with Obama. A real big issue. But now he wants to show off his goddamn ring. His 200. Check it out. Check it.
Center in Belgium. It was presented in a big ceremony in Brussels as a gift to President Trump in June. Now, Trump's FDA lifted restrictions on Freedom 250. It's about the size of a watch.
This is where your money goes to, ladies and gentlemen. This is where your money goes. I think it's high time to take a long look in the mirror, a very long look in the mirror, and ask yourself, was I treated fairly with this administration? Was as an American, was I given any type of did your words, Donald Trump's words, blossom into anything? Did he improve on this economy? Did he improve on inflation? Did he improve on emergency health support? Did he improve on any type of level when it comes to economics? The only thing I see him improving in is the border, which, quite frankly, in my opinion, only my opinion, not yours, it's going to ruin this economy. Because you're shipping Haitians away out of Ohio. Because you're going into LA and picking up Hispanics. Because you're going into Minnesota and picking up Hispanics. But you're also ruining lives as well by unaliving people. But yet we as a nation are getting nearly sick and tired. I don't know about you. Me, I'm just waiting for the collapse to happen. because even though the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, did not pass. I'll say it again. The National Defense Authorization Act did not pass. And also, of course, the SAVE Act did not pass, which would affect a lot of black people and a lot of women. So you have that hiccup, and plus you have our military joining forces with Israel, which is fighting Spain for some odd strange reason. See, this is what mainly happens when you I blame Trump for this. Even though I don't think Trump has anything to do with this thing, I just blame Trump for this because you're not supposed to touch anything that you don't know anything about. You're not supposed to do that. But yet, we're still in a war. We're allegedly, this is what I heard, we're allegedly running out of missiles. You blow up their missiles, they blow up yours. You're using all of yours, respectfully. So at this point, I don't know what's going on. All I know is they better not let him, and I swear to God, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, or independent, they better not let him into that war room. Do not let Trump into that war room. That's all I got to say.
And it's from the Antwerp World Diamond Center in Belgium. It was presented in a big ceremony in Brussels as a gift to President Trump in June. Now, I mean, folks, listen, they put on a big show to really hype this thing up. And folks, it's pretty clear that a lot of thought and effort and attention and care went into making this ring. It has a handcrafted presidential seal and other intricate details in 18-karat gold, baby. And it is encrusted with a whole lot of gemstones. I mean, this massive ring, you ready? Has 321 diamonds in it, 56 sapphires, 13 emeralds, and 6 rubies. A little short on the rubies, I think. And while it was designed for America's anniversary, you know, that little birthday party that we had for ourselves, it's inscribed with the numbers 45 and 47, representing Donald Trump's 2 terms.
Welcome back here.
It also has a giant T made out of diamonds on the side of it. Not only that, there's more. But the engraving on the interior of the ring reportedly says that it was, quote, crafted in Antwerp for Donald John Trump.
Whoa.
So this diamond group clearly gave Trump.
Whoa. Oh, damn. Breaking news. I didn't hear about this shit. Hold on.
We're on live now from Fox. The time 8:09 on the East Coast and 5:09 on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow. I'll be here for the newsroom. Take a look at this video here as the death toll sadly now rising to 7 after tens of thousands of people breached the border heading from Morocco into Spain's Ceuta territory. The update coming in this morning from the Spanish government here. Again, 67 people confirmed dead, but that number could rise. Now, some of those migrants were seen swimming for several miles through the sea, facing down law enforcement who tried to turn them back with water cannons, tear gas, warning shots, all of that. Those who died either drowned or were killed in a stampede to cross a breakwater barrier that was near that border checkpoint. Now, officials there do estimate that about 60,000 migrants were involved in all of this. Again, you can see this video coming in from the last several days here. I do want to talk more about all of this, what it means, what happened, and what happens next. I want to bring in Simone Rodin. She is the senior envoy for Europe at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you very much, Josh, for having me this morning.
And I want to start by kind of going over the basics here, because there is a lot to this, a lot of bits and pieces that are coming in. And of course, that leads to a lot of misinformation and communication. So for folks out there, can you explain exactly what's going on here with Spain and Morocco?
Sure. So first of all, you described it very well. What
And
happened
the
in
fact that
Ceuta
they
is
saw
both a
the
humanitarian
Iranian
tragedy and a very
but
serious
the
security situation. You
media
have to
will
understand,
not
this is
give
a tiny city.
you.
It's basically a few thousand, 85,000 people in the city, and 60,000 people came into this tiny city in a matter of 24 hours. There is also a humanitarian crisis because.
So are you saying that Iran does not have is not producing? I can't even say it right. Is not producing any nuclear weapons? Because it takes years for that type. It takes years for that type of thing. But his dumb ass, well, whatever.
You mentioned it rightfully, there's at least 67 people who have died. Now, the reasons why this has happened are multiple, but one of the main reasons there has been a strategic failure that Spain basically has outsourced for years the decisive protection of a European border to Morocco, and discovered then when Moroccan enforcement on their side sort of doesn't work so well anymore or even disappears, then Madrid has basically no independent capacity to stop the influx.
And of course, you're looking at some of the video of different protests that have taken place. We've seen a lot of that happening. We've seen the video. We brought live images of this about, I would say, 24 hours ago, as all of it was seen unfolding there. You can see so many people in the water. How is Spain going about balancing the humanitarian concerns with border security when you have something of this magnitude?
So first of all, most of the migrants have now returned to Morocco already. But the bigger question now is, of course, political. Prime Minister Sanchez is in a very difficult position because there are loads of questions that are being asked. There's also a wider European question because many European countries within the EU now have said this cannot happen. The European Union must be able to protect its outside borders and not be in the situation where it is being flooded by migrants, creating a humanitarian catastrophe and of that sort. So there will be, of course, now be very, very serious questions that will be asked to the Spanish government. And also, of course, there will be questions to the relationship between Morocco and Spain, because the question.
That is correct. That is correct, because they do have the Epstein files. And if Donald Trump wants to act big, bag, and bold, they can just or if they were to go through with the emergence of power between the United States and Israel, and you might as well throw Britain in there as well. They can do some damage defensively, but at the same time, when it's time to collect, and you tell them no, you have no emergency. You have no more power because you gave most of your power away to Israel. And they can release the Epstein files if they wanted to. So Trump needs to be careful what he... Now, actually, I don't want him to be careful. I want him to talk as much shit as possible. I want him to talk as much shit as possible so they can we can all see the non-adapting part of it.
Will be whether Morocco has sufficiently guarded the border, or whether it even used some of the sort of let the open border migrants come into the country. So it will be a very complicated political situation, I think, within the European Union, with some very, very tense discussions, I believe, in the days and weeks to come.
Have we
On
now?
the left-hand side of your screen, you're taking a live look over the Capitol in the U.S. as, of course,
Have we
President
now? I
Trump
don't
had a lot
remember.
to say about this. He was asked about it, but how is this impacting other countries? Because again, we've heard from folks there in France. We've heard from other countries.
Well, we all know. We all know. We all know who has the actual copies of the Epstein files without the redactions. Do you really think that they were just going to what was his name? Cash Patel was going to actually just release the Epstein files as is? Absolutely not.
As well. So how does all of this kind of impact the other countries?
So again, the immigration question is obviously a big one here. We've had the crisis of
you have the copy
years ago when we had a lot of migrants coming after the war of Syria, where in particular Germany and Sweden opened their doors and millions of migrants arrived. It obviously has created quite a little bit of tense situations in some of those countries, where some countries have not been able to, integrate and assimilate those populations into the ground. So it will create a lot of tense conversations. Prime Minister Meloni of Italy has.
The reason why they haven't released them yet is because they're too busy with this war between Israel, just trying to. They know that they can't tackle Israel by themselves with no arrest. Correct, with no arrest. They know they can't tackle Israel by themselves, and that all they're doing is just biding time. That's all they're doing, biding time. But it's gonna really show in the election. Really gonna show in the election. So, and I don't know who's going to be. I don't know who is going to be worthy of that seat, because let's just say, for the sake of argument, that they impeach Donald Trump. Who's going to be in that seat? Who's going to take over the presidency? If they invoke the 25th Amendment, and both J.D. Vance and Trump are out, who's going to be in that seat? No, sir. If it were me, I would invoke the 25th Amendment. That's what I would do. That's what mainly I would do.
Already harshly criticized the Prime Minister of Spain, has already said that she wants to interrupt what is called the Schengen Agreement, which is basically the free circulation of people within the European continent. The same goes for Denmark, the same goes for Austria. So this will obviously create a little bit of debate here on the ground, and obviously also with elections coming up in several key countries, in France in particular, in 2027, it will also obviously the question of immigration, the question of how do we protect our borders will obviously be key. And just one thing I would like to mention, one of the things that I think has become very clear is that the Prime Minister of Spain has been such a proponent of immigration. He has spoken about the fact that he wanted to legalize over 1 million illegal migrants in Spain. So the question now that is coming from other European countries is whether this has actually not created the situation that then immigrants from Morocco actually wanted to come to Spain. And again, because there is free circulation within the European Union, it doesn't only pose a problem for Spain, but for the larger European Union.
What are you going to be watching for here? As, again, you mentioned that a lot of these migrants who headed over there and crossed the border, some making the trek for miles upon miles in that water there, have returned over to Morocco. And what are you going to be watching for here in the coming hours, days, and potentially weeks?
Well, first of all, the question will be if...
It's kind of real pokey to me. Trump's PAC fundraiser. Why does Trump need a PAC fundraiser? Can anybody answer me that question? Why does Trump need a PAC fundraiser? Oh yeah, and do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, please show some love, show some support. Show some love, show some support. Who do you want to run in 2028? The person I want to run in 2028, she's not going to be there. But if I had a choice, it would be Kamala Harris. If I had that choice. And there's a reason, and I have my reasons for saying Kamala Harris. I would prefer it to be Jasmine. But in my lifetime, I would love to see both of these people do some damage. And let's see. She might run, she may not. Who knows? Do like I said, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And show your boy some love. Show your boy some love. Through through Cash App, through Super Chat. If you can't support, just go ahead and just hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button. Bruh, Kamala can't wait. Kamala can't articulate anything. Can't articulate. Well, JD, he sounds a little bit sus, if you know what I mean. And nobody, to be perfectly honest with you, unless you get that guy from California, nobody is worthy in my book. Nobody. But again, like I said, if Jasmine Crockett were to run, if she were to announce that she would be running, I would be voting for her long damn day. It's time for a change. I'm just saying. It's time for a change. Just saying. But somebody please answer it. AOC. No, not her. Not even Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, please sit down somewhere. Bernie Sanders, you need to sit down. You really need to sit down. APAC or PAC, Trump's PAC. I want y'all to see this because when I pull out receipts, y'all think I'm bullshitting. So let's pull out some receipts of how much money that these people are wasting. And you're basically giving them this money. MAGA Incorporation, the main super PAC supporting President Donald Trump, has raised about $305 million since the 2024 election. The 2024 election. Donald Trump has raised over $305 million since the 2024 election. This is the president said the super PAC has been here, but they've been election has been roughly 5 times, and the period record almost entire funded by donors with giving 1 million or more. 96% is 96 of its total, with 62% of those giving 5 million or more. So all those of you people who support Trump, I need for you to do this. I need for you to take your hand. I want to take your hand, right? And I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to slap yourself. That's what I want you to do. I just want you to take your hand. Take that hand that you have given your hard-earned money away. The ones you feed your family with. And I want you to take that. I want you to slap yourself. Just slap yourself. Don't forget the baby. Oh, damn, I forgot the damn baby powder. God damn it. No, got the damn baby powder. Just do a little something. Just put a little bit in your hand and just slap yourself. Could we practice on you? Would you like to be buried out here? I mean that metaphorically. What do we got here? More Trump news.
A lot of people are upset about that, and the whites are upset about that. And you know it's crazy when your own white people don't want you to run for president for 2028. 2028. Yeah, he want to run for 2028. So I got some videos here, and I want you guys to react to them. I want to know your thoughts about Trump.
I'm going to put this in my story. You need to go check it out. Listen, we got a situation where Donald Trump said that he's going to run in 2028. This is unconstitutional. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. This country does not need this. I'll tell anybody to their face, this country doesn't need this. We do not need Trump in there for another term. He has already lost. He lost to Joe Biden. He's lost this term because he's failed this country. His Republican colleagues have failed him and left him. So he's already lost this term. We don't need him in 2028. And the way that he talks to Caitlin Collins is just the most sickening thing ever. And if you support a man that talks to a woman like he does Caitlin Collins, you're a disgusting human being. And I'll tell you that because that woman does nothing but her job, which is what she gets paid to do. What if you went into your job every day and you got talked to that way when all you're trying to do is pay your bills and make a living for yourself? And now Trump wants to talk to her like he did other night on stage and then put a 2028 hat and say that he's going to run again. This is the most disgusting and inhumane, immoral thing I've ever seen. And you Trump supporters need to wake up because this is unexcusable.
It's like Democrats are about to have full meltdowns because Trump just announced he's running for president in 2028 again. Watch the next clip.
My intention to run for a fourth term as president of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. Yeah. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president.
And this is why we love Donald Trump, because he loves trolling the Democratic Party. But let's be honest, if Trump could run for president in 2028, the Democrats would have full meltdowns. They wouldn't know what to do with themselves. And to be honest with you, I 100% would love to watch this whole situation unravel. Democrats would literally have full meltdowns if Trump could run for president again. I could only imagine the stories, everything that would come out from their party, because honestly, they hate Donald Trump. And the fact that this man is trolling them hard to run for president in 2028, let's make it happen. Who would love to see Trump run again in 2028? I know I would.
Take a look at this shit. Saying that he is officially going to run for a 4th term in 2028. Yeah, a 4th term. Because he sincerely believes that this is his 3rd term that he won in 2020. And he just gave his official announcement that he is going to run for a 4th term in 2028. Well, if that's so, then Obama can come back. Take a look at this shit. This guy is...
You are severely underreacting to Donald Trump last night saying he's planning on running for president in 2028. It's not a joke. We shouldn't treat it as such. And before I show you video proof, which I'm about to do, if you're on the left, repost, share, spread this to as many eyes. And if you're on the right, because a lot of you are that follow me, please don't tune me out. Hear what I have to say after I show you this video.
And announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as president of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again.
The delusion of it all. Him saying he won 3 times. I forgot even the president who was in there for his 3rd term and tried to run a 4th, but ended up being ended up bringing up the 22nd Amendment, which means you cannot be in there a 4th term. Ain't no freaking way in hell.
Thank you.
And someone said he's not gonna be alive to run his fourth term. That's harsh.
I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we'll have to talk.
And a lot of you are conservative or on the right, but you still give me a chance to make my case. Please don't tune me out and go, Hunter, he's just joking. He's not. He is not. Okay, members of his own cabinet last year were talking about him running for president in 2028, and they were like questioned, by journalists saying that's not constitutional. And then last year they said, oh, we're finding a workaround. And this year his administration is putting out multiple policies that makes it harder to vote in elections. Additionally, yeah, he might be saying it in a humorous way.
Putting Negroes in jail. That's her accomplishment.
That he's not entirely
that don't
serious,
even take care of their kids.
This is authoritarianism. This is a dictatorship that we are sliding into, and we have to stand up now, or else what will our Constitution stand for? What will our country stand for?
He announced his 2028 presidential bid last night. Like, he's made merch and everything for this. And his argument about it, he says, well, he's already on his 3rd term, so why not the 4th if he's already doing the 3rd one, right? Never mind the 22nd Amendment that says you can only have 2 terms.
Thank you.
Perhaps 10 years if you take over for a president who has less than 2 years left in their tenure. Max. So if you did win and Biden didn't beat you, then this current presidency is invalid. I mean, there you go. And not to be outdone, even the White House shared this stupid thing on Facebook. Pache Libre, if you will. 4 more years? See, if we put a little laughter, it means it's a joke, right? Right? He loves to test the waters with stuff. Like, do not be surprised by this. Although 2028 is in a long time. TikTok o'clock. Hey, please engage with us. I'm being suppressed right now. But yes, this happened last night at the White House Correspondents Center where he rambled on for more than an hour. People made fun of his Epstein file stuff, and you can see him just fuming. He does that narcissistic chuckle that they do when they're mad. He does it all the time when somebody says something that irritates him. And also, if you watch the clip, the room did laugh. Nobody found it funny. It's not funny. A little bit, in my opinion, at least. So, I mean, like, you have to take people at their face value. One thing my mom taught me when dealing with my exes is that you have to believe what they tell you. Because they are telling you and you have to believe it. So when they're telling you who they are, believe it. Here it is. He is telling you who he is and what he intends to do. Jokes are only jokes if they're funny. And nobody was laughing. Anyway, let's get American flags in the chat so we can remember that this is not okay in our country. Like and comment and do the things because I'm being heavily suppressed right now. And I'll talk to you a little bit. Okay?
No. Talking about
this
Trump.
Is not a joke. Donald Trump stated he is running for president in 2028. He is on video saying it. He just said it tonight. I'm going to show you the video. But all I got to say about this is if the Constitution doesn't matter anymore, then Mondami, you should run for president against him. Here we go.
We are all doing good together. That's why tonight, to show just how much I care about the press, and I want to save your ratings, I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as president of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official, in fact, I think I have, I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we'll have to talk about it. You know, it's interesting when you come back and you do a good job like we did.
and you don't care about it so much. But we do have to tighten up these elections because they really are in seriously bad shape.
I wasn't going to make a video on this, but so many people are losing their effing minds about Donald Trump putting on the 2028 election, saying that he's going to run for re-election in 2028, saying that it will be the fourth time that he's run, fourth time that he's won. By the way, I firmly believe he won in 2020. That's my belief. That's my opinion. But if you really think that if you really think that he's going to run, and you're only believing the clips that all the news stations are putting out, and you're not listening to the entire clip where he said, "Hey, I'm just kidding," then you got something else going on to where you need to do a little bit more research.
Yes,
but I will
that's
say this.
money.
If Donald Trump decides,
yes, the reason why Trump won the second time around was because he cheated. No, he cheated the election. And on top of that, again, campaigns are not run by campaigns are not run by votes, they're run by bucks. That's why you got and I'm starting to understand this a little bit more. This is the reason why you got 8 packs out there. And I want to give a shout out to, now that I have a clear understanding of what campaigning is all about, and them not using genocidal countries to fund their campaigns, such as AIPACs, who are funded by Israel. I'm starting to understand that Wesley Bell, for example, is one of those people who have taken AIPAC money. But to my display, everybody's taken AIPAC money in one form or another. Not Jasmine, though. I looked up Jasmine Crockett's record, and to my dismay, she didn't take anything. Not one single dime. But Brian Dimes is taking AIPAC money. $400,000 to be exact. Donald Trump is the only person who has taken a large sum amount of money from AIPAC. But we're still supporting him. So, Shane.
to win, I'm sorry, if Donald Trump decides to run, not win, even though I do believe he would win, in 2028, he would have my vote, 100%. Because no other president in the history of presidencies has shown this much care for the American people and this much protection for the American people. So, Donald Trump, you have my vote. I don't think he will. I don't think he understands the Constitution. He understands the rule of law, which the left liberal does not understand. So,
no, he does not understand the Constitution, sir. Otherwise, he wouldn't be saying the dumb shit that he's saying now. Talking about, I'm going to run a fourth term. You can't even run a third term, sir. You lost. You lost to Sleepy Joe. You lost. Talking about, I ran 3 times. That's not what the 22nd Amendment says.
I don't believe he's going to run. But I love how he's trolling them. I love how everybody's freaking out. I just want to put my 2 cents.
2028. Matter of fact, he said that he won 3 times. No, he didn't. But he said he's going to run again in 2028 to help the ratings of the TV stations.
I don't know, bro.
Now, remember,
I don't know.
Told us Trump was going to try and run again in 2028 at his fake-ass press dinner last night. Trump said it again. And with all the attempts, allegedly, at stopping any voting any way possible, this looks to be him actually trying. But at the same time, he can't legally do that. So I'm wondering what his angle is that he thinks that he can run for president again in 2028. Obviously, he doesn't obey any laws. Everybody that pushes anything against him, he just ignores it.
No, but he can go to smaller states and ask for money, or he can go to big big voter turnouts, and he can just go, well, all I need is 700 votes. Give me 700 votes. Give me 700 votes.
Every court, everything, remember the tariffs? Those were struck down as illegal. We're back on tariffs everywhere. But now he's saying he's going to run again.
This is not a drill. This is not AI. This is live from the White House Correspondents' Dinner that's happening right now. This happened about 3 minutes ago. This is very real. I'll let you watch.
To run for a fourth term as president of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official. In fact, I think I have. Yeah. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it again. It should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times. Did very well the second time, by the way.
Obviously, he goes on and on and on. Now, is he being serious? It's probably one of those things where you're talking to your wife and you're just like, hey, it'd be so crazy if we went upstairs when the kids were all playing outside, right? Oh yeah, crazy. Yeah, we should.
I'll even give y'all a little secret. Here it goes. You remember Hakeem Jeffries was in the White House, right? And those same hats were sitting so nice on Donald Trump's desk. How much you want to bet that Hakeem Jeffries took one of those hats? How much you want to bet?
Shouldn't do that. But then if she says, yes, you agree to it, it's probably something like that. So we'll see what happens. But dude's crazy.
Trump said that he wants to run again in 2028 for a 4th term. And first of all, I say let him. Let him. He's disintegrating right before our eyes. What kind of a person is going to be left in 2028? He will suck all of the resources away from any other viable candidate that the Republican Party could put up. So I say go for it. Second of all, listen to the words 4th term. That man already believes that he won 3 times. So this idea that he would be violating the Constitution, which has a 2-term limit for the presidency, it doesn't matter to him because he's already won 3 times. So what's a 4th? Trump knows that the Supreme Court is stacked with judges who are corrupt, who will side with him every single time. So he's not worried about that. But I will say this, any gains that Trump has made among Black, Latino, and Asian voters, which really did put him over the edge, who voted for him for the economy will not vote for him again because the economy is tanked. It sucks. And we all know it's probably not going to get any better because they're not making any moves to try to make it better. In fact, they're doing the opposite and making it worse. Trump said that at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and he got a lot of laughs. There were a lot of yucks and applause when he put on the Trump 2028 hat. So just so we're fully aware, guys, corporate media is in cahoots with the Trump administration. Corporate media, these billionaire-backed media conglomerates, they like Trump. I can't tell you guys how many people do not know what is really going on because it's not printed in the newspaper. And you're like, but it's a newspaper. Nobody reads the newspaper. It brings validity to the conversation. And honestly, Democrats need to get louder and actually make the news. That is what Trump learned. Trump learned to make the news, that these people will just write what you say. And so Democrats actually need to say the thing. They can't expect the media to go out of their way to hold the Trump administration accountable for anything. It doesn't work like that. They're laughing with him in that room and applauding him, putting on the Trump 2028 hat.
One night you go to sleep and the next morning you wake up and you find out that Trump just announced his candidacy for 2028 for a 3rd term. He wants to do a 3rd term directly in defiance of our Constitution because the 22nd Amendment does not allow him to do that.
Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it again. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president.
No, you're not.
No, I won 3 times. Did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it.
What in the baby Jesus did I just watch?
Not baby Jesus.
Out of his freaking brain.
Not baby Jesus.
Losing his mind. I don't know. But
okay. Just for the sake of argument, put a 1 in the chat if you think Trump is going to run and win the 2028 election. Put a 1 in there. Put a 1 in there.
If this speech doesn't call for the 25th Amendment to be invoked for Section 4 and have J.D. Vance take over, because this guy clearly can't execute the duties of president. My God.
Ladies and gentlemen. Yes, big fat 0. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think for 1 second that Mr. John Trump, I call him John for a specific reason, because he acts like a John. But anyway, if you obviously think that he's going to run for another 4 years, please get out of Disneyland. Get off those rides, get off of Disneyland, get off of your high, get sober, and get real. Because in these times, people are starting to wake up. Not a whole lot of you, because there's some MAGAs out there, right? And now what I'm hearing, and this is what I'm hearing, it's starting to become just like the MAGAs on the right. There's going to be some MAGAs on the left. So this world is going to turn up on his heels if we don't do something about it. The November general election soon. It's going to be coming up real soon. So I'm going to need all of you to put on your thinking caps and think. Just think. And you don't even have to vote Democrat all the way, necessarily. Or you don't have to vote Republican all the way, necessarily. About what can be, what could be, if we do not vote this bum out. You're lucky that they did not pass the SAVE Act. Because for all my women are in here, for all my women who are in here, for those who are women, the SAVE Act is not for you. As a matter of fact, the SAVE Act does not permit you to vote. As a matter of fact, if you have a last name that does not match your birth certificate, he's not going to let you vote. It doesn't. Yeah. Ugh. Just do me a favor and pray for him. Just pray that he leaves and leaves quietly. But knowing in my heart and in my mind and in my spirit, he's not going to leave very quietly, because he doesn't know how to shut the fuck up. He does not know how to shut the fuck up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask all of you. You're really starting to get on my nerves. Go sit down somewhere. I'm going to ask all of you to please vote this midterm election. Vote for this midterm election and let the people know that y'all ain't playing. We need change, and we need change now. If I could, I would snap my fingers and possibly bring you the candidate that is most comfortable to you, who is going to give you that type of change that you need. Because once again, your gas prices are up, your energy is up, people are making vast decisions in the supermarkets. You can't really buy anything at Whole Foods unless you are, you make a lot of money. But even a person with a lot of money should not be making life decisions at the gas pump, should not be making life choices in the grocery store, or happen to look at that energy bill, the gas bill, your utility bills, period, and make life decisions. You should not be doing that. Going back to what I just put up there in the thumbnail, he's basically made over $1 billion. He's made over $1 billion at this point, not factoring in the people who are suing him right now, not factoring them the corporations who are suing him. Not to the fact of the matter is that he still has to deal with Eugene Carroll and what he has to pay her, because he ended up suing her for the time which she had sued him in civil court. He lost. As a matter of fact, he lost twice. But the more he takes, the more lies that he gives out, the more people start believing in the lie. And then you have the other side. The more lies that he dishes out in the media and starting to make people believe that he's this savior, people starting to get upset. Even the farmers. Even the white farmers who he has alienated, the reporters who he has alienated, the people in his own administration at one point in time who he has alienated because he can't even seem to keep his temper down. I ask you, is this all about America, or is this all about him? Is he going to do something for America in the next 3 years? Or is he going to keep this same circus? Now, let me give you a little bit. Let me roll you back a little bit before I get out of here. He's already got the ballroom going. He's built a ring, a UFC ring in the backyard. He's did something to the pool area and turned it all fucking green. He wanted to be on the face of a $250 bill representing 250th anniversary of the United States of America. He has a ring. He has a He has a statue of himself. Did I forget to mention about the plane? Did I forget to mention about that? There are far too many homeless people in America. Most of them are white. So I ask you, has he done anything for you? And be perfectly honest with you. Be perfectly honest with yourself. Take off your political shades. Just take off your political shades and put on a reality hat. Has he done anything for you? I would like to thank all my subscribers yet again. I would like to thank all my subscribers. I'm trying to hit the 20,000 subscriber mark. It's tough as shit, but I believe I can get there with your help, with your support. You have been, y'all been great. A few of you been getting on my fucking nerves, but it comes with the territory. I like these conversations. I'm learning more as I go along, but it'll be very important. And plus, I'm gonna give you all something better. I'm gonna get off this phone. I'm gonna give you something better. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to get it on this laptop. There's some adjustments that have to be made, and plus, I'm gonna get some better equipment so I can do better for y'all. Look, seriously, I love the conversation. I love the work. I love doing the work. But y'all help get me there. So once again, for everybody in the chat, all my mods, I want to say thank you once again for helping We-On-Loc Nation get to where he is right now. If it wasn't for y'all, I would not be here. With that being said, salute to y'all. Salute to yourself. Salute yourselves as well. Salute, and I'll see you in the next video.